Still a lot of these little flies around. A lot of flies around the kill too. I can just hear them buzzing about. But this is a wonderful view just to show you how agile a leopard can be. I mean, this combretum tree that he's climbing isn't the best to climb. Very thick, small little branches. But in and out of it very easily. Let's see where he goes. We might get a nice view of him coming down and jumping out of the tree. Usually leopards, when they do leave a tree, they'll climb down as far as they possibly can, and then usually the last meter or so, meter and a half, that's a bit of a leap out of the tree. So let's see. He's going to do it this side. And there's one of my favorite bird calls at the moment. Let's just see. It was just a little hop down. One of my favorite bird calls at the moment. That I can hear. It's not at the moment, but it is my favorite bird call. The black-crowned shagger. Just have a look if I can show you a picture of that black-crowned shagger quickly. There we go. Let's see if you can see here, Dave. Let me do... I don't know, can you see there? Is that right? That's a beautiful black-crowned shagger. Easy to see. They fly low, stay in the thickets, fly around, but definitely one of my favorite bird calls out here. Black-crowned shagger, and as I was saying, it's like a very melodious. That's part of the call. It sounds something like that. Okay, now I think we may move out of the sighting. These leopards are settling down a little bit. They moving into thicker bush. It is starting to warm up. So I think, we've had such a wonderful sighting with them. We've had an amazing time. There's no need for us to stay and overstay our welcome. Let's put it that way. We'll probably come back a little bit later. But while I move out of here, let's head to James, who's got some primates to show you.
Now there is the baboon that's been shouting, everybody, sitting at the top of a jackalberry tree just to the eastern side of WildEarthTV camp. Now he has been looking all over the place, but every time he calls, you've just seen him call there, he looks to the north. Now Tayla was speaking a lot about hyena tracks, and I can't see anything around here. There've been impala around this area the whole time. He's looking straight towards the hyena den on Mvubu Road, and while that is quite far, as I say, they've got excellent eyesight. And so what we're going to do is just drive up Mvubu Road there and just see perhaps if maybe there isn't something at the den. Can you imagine they were back? Wouldn't that be nice? Herbie also said lots of hyena tracks everywhere. Can't find anything of lion or leopard, which is what they'd normally alarm call at. I'd be surprised if they were alarming at hyenas, but it's certainly not impossible. So let's head back out that way and see what we can find. He's still calling. There's squirrels shouting all over the place as well, but I don't know what they're yelling at. Maybe they feel something in the air. Maybe they're aware of some sort of meteor approaching planet Earth, and that's why they're all alarm calling, and we have no idea about it. Blissfully driving around on safari. Righty. Here is the Mvubu Road. There are no tracks of any predators on it. I did see one track of hyenas. So we'll just drive straight up towards the den site, the old den site, and see what's going on there. Oh, worst part of the road. Now, I've probably got myself into trouble by getting you all to send in questions about your domestic animals, but Vulpine Wolf Girl, you're saying your domestic cat chat... Ooh, we've got another tortoise fight on the road there. No, we don't. I think we've got tortoise mating about to take place. Vulpine Wolf Girl, I will get to your question. You're wondering why it is that your domestic cat chatters like it does at birds rather than sort of probably just killing them. No, this is a fight. One, however, is substantially larger than the other. And maybe this is mating. The one behind has just definitely come out of a sort of wet hole. Marvellous. Let's go a little bit closer there. Vulpine North Girl, I actually know what you mean, because my mother's cat does the same thing. She will chatter at birds. I don't know why they do that. I couldn't begin to tell you, I'm afraid. Oh, they've gone down into a hole, which I don't think you'll be able to see. Can you see that? Oh, we can. They wish to have their conjugals in private, I think. Fair enough. Let's move on. Those baboons are still calling. I can only assume, Vulpine Wolf Girl, that it's because the domestic cat, well, isn't quite wild, and so it's almost a slight alarm call, I guess, depending on the bird. I'm not sure. There's a real sense of unsettledness about the place. There are squirrels shouting everywhere, alarm calling birds, those baboons going crazy, there were monkeys also. Something is up. That baboon is still shouting. Now this block in here is ideal for walking, it's not very good for driving, and whatever it is, I suspect, is inside here. But we'll pop along to the den site and have a look. Wouldn't it be wonderful to arrive there and find 2 brand new little cubs, 4 or 5 adults lurking around, safe in the knowledge that we'll have them for the next few months. Hold on, nasty bump. It's really surprising roadworks that have gone on here. We'll turn off the road just up ahead. This den side is always slightly further than I think it is. There we go. Hold on. Righty. The mist you can see now has lifted entirely, and I think we're going to have quite a hot day. Now, every time I've come into an area today to look at what was being alarm called at, there's been an impala sitting chilled out completely to the max. Herbert's trying to get hold of us on the radio. Go again with that. No, can't hear anything now. But I think the fact that there's an impala there indicates that maybe there's not a great deal going on here at the old hyena den. Let's check. Here we are. We're arriving now. I don't see anything going on here. The lions, of course, also like to hang around here. No. That looks completely unoccupied, and if you look into the hole there, there's actually grass growing out of it, so I don't think there are any hyenas there. How very disappointing. Okay, I'm going to just go off on foot and look down into the drainage line off to my right-hand side. While I do that, Tayla, I'm sure, would love to give you an update on what's going on her side. She's coming this way from the camp.
James, I hope you be safe out there. Be careful. Make sure you don't stumble across our friend the buffalo with the broken leg. I don't think that would be very fun, so we wish you well in your adventures. Now, we've come to check something, and you may remember it from the other afternoon. The Sangoma house. Here it is. Now, we left it intact. We just took Herbert's gate away, though. And you can see, still got a lovely trail. But nobody has been living inside. I thought, oh, this was a spider that just ran inside, though. I thought that we were going to find a little tortoise that had reversed into this lovely home, or perhaps a little scrub hare would have utilized something like this, but unfortunately, there doesn't... Oh, no! What's that, a beetle carapace? Let me get it out. Let me pull this out. What is this? Yes, it is a legless and a headless. It looked like it was a talky beetle at one point, but something has devoured it, maybe a spider, and captured it and feasted upon it, and now is using this as well, a midden, to just store the carapaces. I'm not sure why it did stand that. Okay, we'll leave it in there. We shall just pop it back inside. You can still see the eggs. From what I thought was from a dove's nest, they're still here. Actually, oh no, there's lots of ants and things in here now. You can see the tiny little feathers that started developing. And we'll leave it safe and sound so that just before, I think before the TV show, when James is in the tent next, we'll come and collect this and we'll give it to him. And maybe he can play it around a little bit more with his dissection kit. Now, Herbert's just, well, he's over there and he's digging away. I don't know what Herbert's digging for. But he's digging a termite mound, which is probably going to prove to be quite tricky because this termite mound doesn't look like it's very active anymore. And I thought that it would be quite solid because it becomes a bit like clay. Let's go in here. Oh no, the grass seeds. Herbie, what you doing?
Good morning, everybody. This is a corkwood. And if you are out there, you get stuck and you don't have food, you don't have water. This is a type of tree that you can use to get energy from. And the only way to get energy is through the root of the corkwood.
Ooh,
which
avalanche. Sorry.
You cut a piece of this size. You peel off the bark. It might take long.
It's quite... The bark's not too tough though,
Yeah,
eh?
no, it's not too tough.
Not too tough. Should we use... Do you want to use a knife?
Yeah. But I always like to do it the bush way.
The bush way?
Yes.
I'm listening to what's going on around us now. There we go, that's easier. The bush way is really good, of course, but you have to have a lot of patience. And patience was yesterday's topic. We've moved away from that now and we take shortcuts. We just use a multi-tool. Okay, very white.
Very white.
It looks like there's a lot of water as well. Very interesting.
Lots of water and lots of sugar as well.
Oh, delicious. So if you were feeling tired on a walk...
Exhausted, this is a type of root that you can use.
So what do I do, Herbie?
You break it. Lots of water on it, and you just chew. You just chew.
You just chew it.
Any changes?
It tastes like carrots.
Yes, it does.
And it smells.
It smells. But this will actually carry you until you get to the next watering hole. It gives you energy.
Herbie, it doesn't taste nice though. It's not as great as it rehydrates. It's very dry.
It's very dry. It's very dry because it's on top of the termite mud. But most of the time, when the ground is still very wet, it carries lots of water. Yep.
Very good though, very interesting. So if you're a little bit uncertain about corkwood, you dig out a root well, and if it If you break away the outer layer to get down to the cambium layer, you can smell, it smells exactly as if you'd grated carrots. It's the most incredible smell, Herbert.
Yes.
And now,
Smell like.
Herbie, look what else we've got. It's our friend again. I still have not been able to have found it. Craig, look over here. That fly.
Yeah.
We've been seeing these flies everywhere at the moment, and unfortunately there's no termites living in this termite mound, but it seems as though the ants are now utilizing it. And it's not just that one. That one's great because it's in the sun, but there are quite a few of them scattered around here. And they are after, and they feast upon ants and termites. I've searched desperately as to what specific species of fly this is that feeds upon termites and ants. But it is incredible. You can see it's managed to catch one now, but it doesn't seem to eat the whole ant. Oh, it just flung that ant. It's very strong. And it really is just amazing. It grabs one. It seems to almost bite its head off. I know that sounds quite barbaric, but that's what it looks like it does. It quickly grabs one, it brings it towards its mouth, and then it drops the rest of the ant again. But isn't this just the most incredible thing? And you're going on this adventure, and I promise you one day I'll find out what it is. And I'm actually just about today, I'm going to order some books from some of the universities, some first-year entomology books, and maybe they'll have a bit more than some of the guiding books that we have out here. But that is really fascinating to see this. I think it's one of the most amazing things I've seen, especially the way that they grab the ant or the termite, pop it in their mouth, and then they drop it. I'm desperately craving my brain. It bothers me. I don't sleep at night because I want to know, of course, what is going on and why do they eat those termites and flies. Is Rebecca talking to me? Oh, sorry, Rebecca. I apologize, Rebecca. I didn't hear anything you just said. I think I bumped my volume and turned my volume down. Can you repeat everything? Can you whisper into my ear again? Wonderful. Okay. So as I was bending about, I turned the volume down on my radio. But Rebecca says that while I try and sort out my brain, this may take a long time. I've gone to see people about it. No, we're not going anywhere. You're staying with me now. Good. You'll stay with me and we'll keep walking. Now you can see we're on the road at the moment, and the reason why we're walking on the roads, and I said it earlier, is because we really need to try and pick up tracks. You can hear the woodland kingfisher. We'd had one leopard track earlier. It was a very faint one, and of course yesterday, James, just before drive ended, James was searching for Tingana. Now the baboons are shouting, so have the vervet monkeys. There's lots of things going out. There's lions calling from every corner of the property. Like James said, it's very uneasy here at the moment. We don't know where anything is. We don't know why they're hiding for us. So by walking on the road, it's nice and sandy. You can see it's very, very fine. Everything leaves a footprint. Not just me. A dung beetle will leave a track, a millipede, a frog, even those ants and termites. If they walk around on the same path for long enough, you'll see they'll develop their own tiny little pathway. And that's why it is so important when you are searching for tracks. The best place that you need to go and have a look is these sandy sort of soils. But we're probably going to go venturing through the middle of the quarantine plains now to get to the other side. But it seems as though James, thankfully, has made it safely back to his vehicle. Let's go and see how his walk in the drainage was.
Well, thankfully indeed. And I'm afraid I found nothing, but those baboons are still shouting. I'm just going to ask Rebecca to try and tell me exactly where Tayla is. I wonder if she can, just so that we don't overlap where we're searching. I don't know what's going on. There's no track of any predator that I know of that should make baboons behave like they are now. Unless one of them's actually been caught and killed somewhere close by, and that's why everything is so completely relaxed about everything, because they know that death has occurred and everyone else is safe. Apparently Tayla's on quarantine, so she's quite some distance from where we are now. I'm going to do one last turn past the Gallagher waterhole, and then I think we'll probably decide that whatever it is in here has beaten us. just have a little stop here and a listen. I did hear some lions calling deep inside Biffletook again. Everything completely relaxed. You can hear a white-browed scrub robin in there. And going. That's its sort of evening call. I don't know why it's doing it now. Now, Daryl, the scenario you're painting is a very unlikely one, but let's try and pretend that it does happen. You say that if another lion pride met the Nkahuma pride, or came into their territory, would they kill the cubs? Daryl, the reason it's unlikely is that lion prides will avoid each other, so they know where their territories are and they avoid each other, and they don't have sort of pride takeovers, so pride will not leave its territory, move into an area and try and take over another area. That said, for example, there is some overlap between the Styx and the Nkahumas on the southern end of the Styx pride territory, at least northern end of the Styx pride territory, and southern end of the Nkahuma pride territory. And if they were to meet, would they kill each other's cubs? I think they probably would, you know. They're not particularly tolerant lions. If they ran away quickly enough, there'd probably be a standoff between the adults and the cubs would move away quite quickly. I don't know that unlike the males, I don't think they'd actively seek out the cubs to try and kill them, but I certainly think that if they did come across them and there wasn't a sufficient kind of backing off of youngsters, then yeah, it's possible that there could be some kind of cub carnage, if you like, or infanticide. Well, there's a woodpecker in this tree. There it is. You see it there, Rion? There it is. Now that's two species of woodpecker. There's a bearded woodpecker up top, and there's a little cardinal woodpecker down below. That's interesting. It's a cardinal that's calling. Or is it? Oh, you know what? It's not. It's a baby bearded. It's a little bearded woodpecker. Unless I've gone completely mad. And just on the off chance that I have, I'm going to check it up. They are indeed little bearded woodpeckers. Saying wick, 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 wick. That's what the call is. Wick, 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 wick. That's very cool. I think those are actually two youngsters that have come out of the nest sometime soon. And we're just going to play the call for the adult. And Danny, this is not a question I can answer very easily. You say, how long does it take for the birds to travel from Europe to Africa? It just depends where in Europe, and you want to know if it's continuous travel. Some of them sleep on the wing. Some of the swifts and swallows will sleep on the wing slightly, but normally not, no. Normally they will land every evening, and so there's a huge amount of risk involved, and where they choose to land is largely to do with where it's safe. Now let's just quickly play you the call of the bearded, because I don't think that sounded like a very mature call. There you go, that's the bearded woodpecker. It's just a slightly different tone from the little one that was there. Very nice. Okay, then there's another bird up there. Danny, I mean, the subject of migration is beyond fascinating to... Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, how we have wanted that bird. And Brent said he saw it, and then someone else said they saw it, and now I have seen it, and my life is complete. That, everyone, is the broad-billed roller. My very first sighting of a broad-billed roller. Ha ha! That's really cool. Now, unfortunately, the light is not brilliant for you to see its colours, but it's bright purple, really, with a golden beak. And that is really exciting. Now, Brent spotted this thing some time back around here. We came into the area to look, and we heard it call, and then we couldn't find it and assumed that it just wasn't going to be here for very long. Clearly, it's been here for some time, and maybe it's even nested here. That's very exciting. So it breeds in South Africa, but it is not a common, it's a migrant species. Oh, that's wonderful. Isn't that great? How many of you have got broad-billed roller on your bird lists? I'm going to try and get a bit closer, everyone. We're just going to sneak down here, and there he is sitting out in the open. And I saw him when we were looking at the woodpeckers, and I thought to myself, that can't be, surely not. Not on a morning like this. And there he is. The broad-billed roller. Oh, there he flies. Where's he going? You got him there. In the tree right up ahead. He's not too far. I can see him there. We'll just move a little bit forward again. There's always this wonderful sort of banter that ensues. If you see a bird that nobody else has seen, then the immediate response is to say, well, you didn't see it. So, of course, with a guy like Brent, it's just so he's like tossing, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You say, Brent, you didn't see that, no one else saw it. And he goes wild. There it is. Can you see it there, Rian? Yeah, all spotted. Janice, this is number 38 for you, and you should put a big star next to number 38 there, because the broad-billed roller is not something you're going to see every day. In fact, if Byron or Tayla haven't seen this bird, it'd be well worth them coming down through here. Oh, that's very special, everyone. Look at his colours, aren't they beautiful? Purple and gold and navy blue and a bit of lighter blue underneath there. I'll play you his call. Now, Chris, you say this is number 263 for you. Now, I mean, that's beyond impressive. 263. That is a lot of birds. This is his call. There you are, James. You were wondering about the call. That's it. It's not exactly musical, is it? Ooh. I say. It is not dissimilar to some of the singing I've heard in camp. Beautiful. That really is fairly unpleasant, isn't it? I think we're going to stop that. It's starting to hurt my ears. There he goes. He's coming overhead. Where are you going, broad-billed roller? The bird has gone out of sight. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. It's still flying, actually. Well, I'm going to see if I can find it again. While we do that, Byron has managed to find himself something you've all seen before, but something we haven't seen for some time.
My favourite one, yes, James, we haven't seen them for some time. A beautiful young elephant bull. It looks like he's in a little bit of musth. Now, James, I'm very jealous of you. Well done on finding that broad-billed roller. That is incredible. That really is a nice, rare sighting of a bird. I've only ever seen broad-billed roller in the Sabi Sands once before. I wonder if James has, I don't know if he mentioned, has he seen them in this area before? I've only seen it once. So that is a very, very nice sighting. And I'm so glad we get to show you this elephant. Okay, so James has seen it before too. Yeah, beautiful bird. And I'm so glad we got to show you this elephant, and he is standing under a marula tree feeding on the marula fruit on the ground. And it looks like it appears to be a youngish male, judging by the size. I think he's early 20s probably, but you can see him sweating from that temporal gland. You see that coming out of the side of the head. It's known as the temporal gland, and that is usually when the male elephant come into musth. That's spelled M-U-S-T-H. And that is when the males are looking for females. They are ready to mate. They've got a lot of testosterone and hormones running through the body, and it causes them to sweat from the temporal glands, and usually from the penis too, between the legs. But I don't see any moisture or liquid around there at the moment. Big males, when they do come into musth, they drip profusely, and it's a very pungent, strong smell. These younger males, they come into a musth, but it's not as strong as that of the large males. Oh, this is really great. That is just a perfect African scene. Big elephant standing under an even bigger marula tree feeding on the fruit. Oh, this is really, really special. I mean, it was really great to see the leopards this morning, but you all know how much I love elephant and how I enjoy just spending time with them. See, he's doing exactly that, feeding on marula fruit. He's popping them in his mouth, maybe one or two at a time, just constantly feeding. They chew a little bit and then they swallow. Sometimes they just swallow the fruit whole. I always used to tell my guests, and I still do, it's like sweets for them. Marianne all the way from Texas. Good morning, Marianne, or good evening back home, I'm sure. Marianne, you want to know the difference between the marula and the false marula? Well, the false marula don't have fruit. I've not seen fruit in the false marula. One of the main differences, they do look slightly different. And I just need my binoculars for a second. I just need to double check something. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I stand to correction. I'm trying to look. But the other difference between the marula and the false marula is the trees look similar. The false marula leaves are a lot shinier as opposed to the marula, and also the leaves actually come off a little. There's a little stem that leads to the leaf on the false marula, whereas the marula it doesn't have a. What is the correct term for it again? Is it a... sure. Yeah, I've hit a blank now. I'm trying to think of the correct tree terminology, and when you haven't done it for a while, you forget all the little scientific names. Yeah, Rebecca says I need to practice it now. I actually think I've got it the wrong way around. The marula. I need to get closer, and we'll show you. Let me hold on to that question for a second, and I'll show you when we get to a marula tree. I'll find a branch, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if I think a lot of the medicinal uses that we've picked up over the past, I think it's been found out by people that live in the area, so it affects us slightly differently to the way it will affect animals. And I mean, I don't know. I've never seen an elephant go to a knob thorn and chew on one of the knobs because it's got a sore tooth, for example. So I think all those medicinal uses are purely for human beings. I don't think they work for animals. You can imagine a lion that's eaten a slightly off buffalo heading to maybe a brown ivory to help cleanse the stomach. No, I don't think so. I've never seen that before. Robin, as far as I know, that liquid, it's I mean, I don't know exactly what it consists of. It's obviously a bit of moisture that comes out, but it's basically hormones and testosterone that is leaked out of there. But I don't know exactly what it consists of. I've never read anything. I don't know if they have studied about it exactly and if they know exactly what it is. Michael, it varies. The length of period an elephant is in musth does vary. They can go from anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. In fact, it really can last that long. Now, the younger bulls will go into a period of musth, but it won't be as long. And often what happens is if there is another bigger, more dominant male who is in musth, they suppress the musth that these younger males will go into, and it causes them to move out of that musth a lot quicker. The biological reasons, and that it's not necessarily just picking up on the scent of females and knowing if the females are in estrus or not. It's just a state that the males go through. They are ready to mate. They are looking to mate, and it's just an increase in hormones, increase in testosterone, and then they will go and specifically then look for the females when they are in musth. But yeah, it can be, the length of time can be varied quite a bit. But it's interesting how bigger, more dominant males will suppress musth in younger males. This is a lovely young male though. He's now feeding on the grass, so he's changed from marulas to the grass. Isn't this great? What a morning. Leopards, elephant. Skies are blue again, as you could see earlier. The mist has moved off, just as I thought. We mentioned it might clear up, and it has indeed. Now we're going to leave this elephant, I think, allow him to enjoy his marula fruit in peace. Now, Tayla's living life on the dangerous side. She's got an assassin with her.
We came across the senna tree and we've been looking at these senna plants for the last couple of days now. And we've been obviously seeing the beautiful larval species of the African migrant, but you can see, and I'm going to just pull a piece of grass out, there are some dead ones, these black things dangling, and I couldn't work out what was killing them, and then I found it. Are you ready to have a look at it? Here it is. That is an assassin bug. If I can hold it still, I don't want to get bitten by it though. Now this is a dangerous creature. I'm very nervous as I sit here with it. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, I want to see if I can maybe just turn it, just encourage it to go towards you, just because I want you to see its very long proboscis. Maybe it will come onto this piece of grass. There we go, it's going to climb up now. And look at its long proboscis that it has. Thank you, assassin bug, because everybody wants to see how beautiful you are and know which one to keep avoiding. It will use that long proboscis. It will attack these caterpillars. Now, they don't really have to stalk the caterpillar because they are not fast moving and they're all about this tree. I mean, we walk straight up to the caterpillars and pick them up. So I think that it's a very easy meal for these assassins, and they look rather fat, but they will probe that caterpillar and they'll send a paralytic sort of toxin into its body, and then it becomes paralyzed, and of course that same toxin then helps digest the caterpillar from the inside, and it will stick its proboscis back in and suck up all that lovely sort of soup that's left inside of it. But you want to keep away from the assassin bug because these are also known as kissing bugs, and it can cause Chagas disease. They'll often bite you around the mouth, and I don't think there's any known cure for Chagas disease. And I'm, as far as I'm aware from what I've read, it can be quite unpleasant. But look at our little friends just over here. You are very brave, caterpillar. This one over here, here's a live one of our beautiful little friends. My favorite little cat. I think these are actually my favorite caterpillars, I've decided. The larvae of the African migrant butterfly. They're beautiful. They're the most unusual feeling caterpillars. They're quite rough. Oh, have a look. Look. He looks like he's stalking this grasshopper. Let's see what he's going to do. I don't know if this elegant grasshopper has seen this other assassin bug. Look how slowly it's moving. And they are notorious for being the most incredible assassins. This is amazing. He's now touching the grasshopper. I don't know if it knows. I think that's a bit big. Oh, there we go. The grasshopper knows that something's going on. He's now trying to kick it away with his back legs. Run, grasshopper, run, jump! You're going to be attacked. This is a very slow hunt, of course. It's like it's all happening in slow motion. And I think that assassin bug has realized that it has bitten off a little bit more than it can chew. Let's see if it's going to give it another go. I'm going to let go of the branch now. Oh, sorry, I've got a cramp in my leg. Let me move away quickly. Hold this branch because it's going to start moving. No, I think that this assassin has realized, like I said, it's too big, but now it's going towards a caterpillar. Let's see if it's going to go for this caterpillar instead. You have to go a little bit to the right, my friend. But like I said, I don't think it's really having to work too hard this morning. Everything around here, other than that locust, is typically quite slow moving. And I apologize, the wind is blowing quite vigorously, but come and have a Craig, maybe have a look. I'm sure your legs would like a break, yes, not from being in the hunched down position. But if you look straight over the top of them, look at this assassin bug's color now in the sun. Can you see them just here with all the caterpillars too? It's almost like a maroonish bronze, and it's got a bit of a shimmer to it as well. Oh, I was so hoping we were going to see one of these assassin bugs capture. Oh, let me hold it still. The wind is gusting through again. It would have been amazing to see how they actually feed and how they will jab that proboscis into their prey. But they completely suck them dry. And I actually want to pick up one of these dead caterpillars. Look here. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Look at it. Now that we look at it in my hand. Oh, sorry. It's been completely sucked dry. Can you see that beautiful blue shimmer on the caterpillar? That is incredible. Now, it's gone all brown. It's dead now. And it's a lot thinner than what it normally was. My hands are filthy. Look at that. Look what happens when I squeeze it. I'm just touching it gently. Look at that. There's nothing left in there. Those assassin bugs have completely feasted and sucked out every last drop of this caterpillar. But this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm just searching, because I'm really hoping that we're going to find another assassin that's maybe a little bit on the hungry side. Are you going to go back and try and catch a grasshopper again? No. Now there are a lot of caterpillars, there are a lot of assassin bugs here. I think we're going to actually stay put and perhaps see if we can't capture a hunt of an assassin bug versus one of its favorite items, whether it's a grasshopper or hopefully a caterpillar. But we're going to go across to Byron now, who's arrived at Chitwa Dam, and I hope that those hippopotamus that are there are going to give you a show like they did last night.
I am at the dam now, and Tayla, good guess. Yes, there are hippo here. There are indeed. There are a few off in the water close to us. I'm trying to look for a crocodile. But I don't see any, and it's starting to warm up. Might have to, definitely warming up quite a bit. So, I wonder if these hippos, seems to be quite a few of them there at the moment. You can hear, maybe we get some calls from the hippo a little bit later. You never know. Always very vocal around the dam, which is nice. There's some guests on safari driving past. It's always great to see people out on safari enjoying the morning. Taking my jacket off quickly. It's warming up nicely now. I can hear the water thickneys calling. Let's see if I can find them quickly for you. Where are they? Where are they? Give me a second. Let me just look for them. They are well camouflaged. Oh dear. Can't find them, but let me show you a picture of them quickly. I'll keep looking for them. Maybe I can show them to you. Thickney. And these are the water thickney because we're next to water. There we go. Let me just try and get my shadow over there. Is that a bit better over there? That's the water thickney. Now, they generally are classified as nocturnal birds. You can see that very, very large eye. Well camouflaged, brownish coloration, bit of white. And they do hang around the dams a lot. And they've got a very interesting whistling call. I'll point it out to you, or let me play it for you quickly. Can you hear that? That's their call. So I can hear them calling. Let me see if I can find them for you. They're somewhere here. The African Jacana. Have a look at that. Wonderful. Well spotted, Dave. The bird with the big feet. Now have a look. You can actually see the feet there. Watch while it's walking. Every now and then lifts its foot up. Have a look how long the toes are. It's incredible. It's amazing to see. Hang on. There, look at that. Do you see that? That is amazing. So strange. Oh, catching a little insect. Look how long those toes are. Look at those feet. The largest feet. That is wonderful, Dave. Well done. Wow. The largest feet in proportion to body size than any other bird. And look how it spreads its feet. And that is why it's able to walk on those reeds and lilies, because it spreads its weight evenly over or creates a large surface area for its weight to be spread on, and that's why it's able to walk on the grass and the reeds over the water. But that is amazing. Really, really funny looking bird, almost, the African Jacana. And there's beautiful stripe of stars or string of stars, those white flowers that you can see just in the foreground, and then they're passing past. There's so much going on here. I really enjoy sitting around these water holes and these dams, and I'm going to sit here for a while and just see what else we can find. Now, from the water that we have here, James has got water antelope.
Now, Byron, of course, will consider that a very clever link indeed, from water to Waterbuck. Ha 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 ha. This particular pair of Waterbuck is seemingly in sort of possibly the precursors to mating, and they are much less seasonal breeders than, for example, the Impala are. So we saw a very pregnant one the other day. Clearly he is testing whether she's ready to mate or not. In fact, he wouldn't be hanging around her unless he was fairly confident that she was almost going to be ready to mate. Now, if I'm not mistaken, their gestation period probably sits at around about, I would say 8.5 to 9 months. Let me just check that quickly for you, for I would hate to be accused of lying to you. Just quickly checking here. No, we don't care about this subspecies. And Rebecca thinks that he just wants to spoon. I think, Rebecca, that spooning is the very last thing on his mind. Right. They have a gestation period of 7 to 8 months. So it's probably it's not 7 months. That's much too short. It must be about 8 months. So if they were to mate now, of course, it is January. She would give birth in August, the end of or the middle of, and I can remember seeing very baby Waterbuck around that time of the year, and I suspect it's got to do with 2 reasons. Oh, look, they're nuzzling each other. Take it back entirely, Rebecca. They do want a spoon. Isn't that sweet? It's quite difficult to spoon with horns like that, I imagine. This is gorgeous stuff. Now, they live ostensibly not in water, as their name might suggest, but in the seep line areas, and between where they are now and the drainage line to the left-hand side of your screen, there is a seep line, and those seep lines carry grass and edible leaves. Oh dear, what is that sticking out from underneath his belly there? I think that fairly swiftly tells us what his intentions are. We might be about to see something very unusual here. Good grief, that looks like a butterfly's proboscis. It sort of rolls up. It's very odd. I suppose not if you're a waterbuck. So, by living on a seep line, it means that they have food pretty much most of the year round, and some of the grasses there are quite difficult to eat, and many animals I don't think would be able to cope with them, but the waterbuck has adapted. Goodness gracious, are you recording, Rion? We may be about to witness a waterbuck mating. She's just having a bit of food to tide her over this difficult time, energy sapping time. It's like he fed her a little strawberry there or something. It is amazing, how long this process takes. It's never short. Well, the actual act will be extremely short, but the process of this endless sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, Rebecca. What do men do with women? Courting. Thank you very much, Ran. Courting and seduction goes on for ages, and you have to wonder what the reason for it is. I mean, he's got himself into complete twitter. Look, he's panting. But every time he looks like he might mount her, she moves off. Now what he's doing is, he's rubbing his head against her, obviously, to try and induce her to allow him to mate with her. But I suspect that the testing of the urine, which goes with, of course, the phlegm and grimace, has probably already taken place. And there comes the butterfly proboscis as we speak, and it's gone back inside. Now when we came to them here, they were lying on the ground. She's definitely not disinterested, as we can see there. This is a quite fantastic sighting. So let's just see how this plays out. Look at that. It's almost as though she thought, no, don't go anywhere without me. James, as they disappear into the bush for perhaps some more private space, you want to know if the calves also smell musty, or if they develop that later. I have seen very young calves, and I must confess they don't smell of much. I think it would be very disadvantageous to them to smell as youngsters, so I'm fairly sure that they're not born with the same smell as the adults. I'm just going to have to move out the way. There's a car coming down the road here. That was amazing, wasn't it fantastic? Another super zoom of my head. Wonderful stuff. You're going to be able to see into my brain soon. What little there is. Yes, now I'm afraid they've gone away, so let's head back to Byron and to Chitwa Dam, where he is enjoying the morning sun.
I am indeed enjoying the morning sun, James. And so these hippo, it appears, they're in the water and looks quite comfortable. Now, Amber, you wanted to know which is more dangerous to be around, a hippo or a crocodile. Now, that's tough. Now, Amber, I think generally the crocodile is responsible for more human deaths than a hippo. However, the crocodile eat the people, so you don't really find the remains. It's terrible, but that's true. You won't find any remains from crocodile eating people, so you don't. That's why they're not really sure how many people get killed by crocodiles every year. With the hippo, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a flyby, everyone. There's some guests that are leaving and they're flying over. That was actually quite cool. See, pilots, they want to be game rangers, but they just fly planes. Please don't quote me on that. So, Amber, getting back to your question, I think the hippo are also very responsible for a lot of human deaths, but they don't eat the people, so they often kill the people, and all that happens is, all that happens is the people get too close to the water holes, and the hippo feel threatened, and they defend themselves by obviously attacking. So it's hard to say. Hippo are very fast, very powerful. To be honest, I'd most likely be around a crocodile, because if you're on the water's edge, you can see the crocodile, and the chances of you being attacked on the water's edge are pretty slim. But hippo will come out at you. So if they feel threatened, they will charge, and they can move very, very fast, surprisingly for their size. About 40 kilometers an hour, which is, what is that, about 25 miles an hour? Somewhere around there, so they can move very, very quickly. Oh, we got a waterbuck. Oh, there we go. James had the waterbuck earlier trying to mate, and we've just got a male over here. Again, James with the mating animals, the love guru, James Hendry. It's a beautiful specimen, that male, though. Very, very big male. Mario, hippos stay in the water for most of the day. I would say probably 70 to 80%. It does also depend, though, Mario, on the time of year. And I say that because now in summer, when it is hot, they'll stay in the water for just about the whole day. But then what they do is they come out at night to go and feed. So they'll go and feed on those clearings in the background where we saw that waterbuck walking through. There's lots of grass there at the moment. And hippo, we know they are herbivores. They only feed on grass. So they will go off, feed, and then return to the water a little bit later on. And because there's so much food around, they'll probably feed for a few hours, 2 or 3 hours, and return again. But in winter, when the water is very cold and the temperatures are cold, the hippo will come out and they'll lay on the banks of these water holes or of these dams to bask in the sun, warm up a bit, and then return to the water. So we'll spend more time out of the water in winter as opposed to summer. We are probably going to leave the dam now. It's been wonderful sitting here. We'll see what else we can find on our way back to Djuma. Now, James has 2 lovebirds in a tree.
Well, I suppose so. They're certainly not lovebirds. They're shrikes. Lovebird is actually a real biological designation. And what they're doing is looking after a nest. There were 2 adults there with very long tails, and you might just be able to hear, if I shut up for a second. Here we go. Oh, and coming along here, just here. I'm going to roll forward. You got them there. I just need to move forward. They're the juniors. You can see the little ones. Oh, no. They've got much shorter tails, and they make that call that's not quite into the beautiful kind of swizzling call that they can make, that doodle-doop, doodle-doop. They're just making a whack, 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 which still means I want food, I want food. Anyway, sorry, that's not a great view of them. We'll try and move forward slightly. No, they're in some very thick bush there, I'm afraid. Alright, we're about to approach Buffelshoek Dam. I'm not holding out a great amount of hope for what's going to be here. I haven't found anything useful here for, well, weeks. Now Sandy, I'm trying to think if I've seen a racket-tailed roller. You say you just need the racket-tailed roller to complete your complement of rollers. I think that's the same for most out here. I did see one racket-tailed roller once, actually. Yes, I have seen a racket-tailed roller. But the broad-billed roller, a very nice first for me today. Yes, and Buffelshoek Dam, terrapins, no geese, no plovers, no crocodiles, no leopards, no lions. We're going to leave Buffelshoek Dam. I think it needs a little bit more water in it so that it becomes rejuvenated as the summer goes along. Alas. Let's head across to Tayla and find out what she's managed to find you. Apparently it's so minute that you'll have to put your glasses on.
we've come across the most beautiful spider, and you should be able to see it now. But look on the back of the cephalothorax. Can you see it almost looks like there's a face? Now it's turned away. But maybe you did see it. It almost looks like its face is the other way around, and its cephalothorax is slightly elongated too, which is really incredible, to make it look like a snout. And I don't know what type of spider this is, unfortunately, but it's protecting its egg sacs. It does not want to be disturbed at all. And it's quite aggressive. I mean, we just are moving a couple of leaves out of the way so you can see, and we will leave it alone. But every now and then it raises its body up and, of course, shows us its chelicerae and its pedipalps, and it gets very angry. So, well, and we let it go. This one, of course, and well, that's what female spiders will do, is that they will protect their young, most of them. This one's made a little web and attached it underneath the side of that little acacia. And well, there's other spiders, like the wolf spiders and the nursery web spiders, that prefer to carry their eggs with them. And I think that that's a better way to go, because then you're not restricted. You can sort of just run around, carry your eggs, and most of the time they don't eat anyway when they do have their eggs. Don't worry, Craig, you're fine. I think let's go this way so you don't walk into the shrubs. It's always difficult, of course, when you're walking through the bush and you've got to walk backwards. It can be, well, very difficult. And that was quite a beautiful find. I'm not sure what species of spider that is. Initially, when I first saw it, I thought crab spider. It's definitely not a crab spider. That abdomen, or the cephalothorax, sorry, was so beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. It really looked like it had a nose, almost like, you know what it actually looked like? The face of it reminded me a little bit of the assassin bug. Obviously, it doesn't have the long proboscis, but its back of it came to a bit of a point. It was quite unusual. Now we're walking across these open plains. We don't want to go down that way through the drainage system, because that's the area where our friend the buffalo with the broken leg is, and we don't want to run into her because we know that she's not the happiest camper at the moment. So we'll just have to keep walking along here. And I'm so glad to see that I don't have too many burrs on my shoes and my socks today. Normally by the end of it I'm completely covered in the seeds from the carrot seed grass, which is horrible stuff. It gets stuck everywhere, and I spend at least 20 minutes a day pulling those burrs out of my clothing, which is an absolute nightmare. And sending them through the washing machine doesn't help either. That doesn't just take them off. We physically got to pull them off. So that's a very effective way, of course, of spreading your seeds. Now, James, you said that you've read that red grass, I think it's, what's the, Tamida, and you were wondering if there are any other species of grass, like the red grass, that is resistant to fire. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but fire is a good way to get rid of a lot of grass species, because if you have a slow fire, so it's a slow burn on a cool day, it'll burn straight down to those roots, and it's very difficult for the grasses to come back after that. I'm not actually sure. I know that yellow thatching grass burns very easily and very quickly because it is obviously quite dry and quite brittle. There's a grass that I haven't seen up here yet, and last time I saw it was about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a grass called turpentine grass. I cannot remember the Latin name, but it typically grows up on mountains and very poor disturbed areas, and I wonder if that maybe wouldn't be a slightly resistant to fire, but I'll have to do a bit of research. I'll do some reading up of grasses, and this afternoon, James, hopefully I'll be able to get back to you with an answer of a couple of different grass species that share that fire resistant trait that the red grass has. Now I am holding these thorns. They were just out here in the middle of the open, and I thought, I think I'm going to move them. I don't know who'd brought them there or how they got there. Could be a number of different ways. The wind, because it's not particularly heavy, and we did have that gale force wind that would have blown this around quite easily. But I just thought that I'm probably going to stand on it at some point in my life, so I'd like to move it away, because you wouldn't want one of these thorns. And look how big that almost lost an eye there. The wind blew it straight back into my face. I shall hold on tight. You would not want one of these thorns going through your shoe and into your foot, let alone to spike your eye. that would be very, very nasty. And yesterday we were actually, the previous afternoon, 2 afternoons ago, we were actually speaking about protection that various trees have, and I think that these thorns from the acacias are probably some of the most effective thorns, and these ones are actually quite hard and tough. They are hollow, like we've spoken about a number of times, and flexible too. But unfortunately, I can't even break one of these. But they're very, very sharp. So let me go and put it down. Let's put it in the middle of this thicket over here, so where I will not stumble across it again, because I actually don't want to encounter this branch anytime soon. For me, it is an accident waiting to happen. Now, the next plant we're going to try and look for, and it should grow around here. I've seen it every now and then. It's a plant called wild asparagus, and I'm sure you've seen it, and we need to start keeping an eye out in the next few months, because it should start to get its flowers. Now, the wild asparagus, it almost looks like a bit like a fern. It's got very fine leaves, and it's quite a dark green color. It grows quite low on the ground. It sort of creeps, makes a little small shrub, but it gets the most beautiful yellowish white flowers on them that smell like coconut. And between the num-nums, the Carissa bispinosas, and of course the wild jasmines, the white flowers have the most delicious scents. I think that the wild asparagus is probably one of my favorites. I might even prefer it more than the smell of a num-num or the wild jasmine, and I absolutely love those scents. So we're going to keep searching now. We're going to check under some of these shrubs and all these areas to see, of course, if we can find this wild asparagus. Maybe we can even try and dig up a root or two. But we're going to go back across to Byron now. I'm not sure where he is or what he's doing, but hopefully he's got something fantastic.
I always have something fantastic, Tayla. I'm just very secretive. Now, Taylor's been speaking about plants and what she's looking for, the wild asparagus. Getting back to, I think it was Amber asked earlier about the difference between the marula and the false marula. I wanted to show you, I didn't forget. I have a look at this. If you look at this from the stem, you get the stem coming off, and then you've got the leaves actually sitting on little stalks. Do you see that? I think, is that the best way to describe it? Just over there. See, there's a little stalk, and then the leaf coming off the little stem. Now, this is the marula. With the false marula, you don't have that at all. So the leaf actually comes directly off the stem. So you don't have these little stalks that lead off to the leaves. And that's one of the main differences. And again, that shiny sheen that you get on the false marula. Bit of a tongue twister. But so if I do find one, I'll definitely show you. But that is probably one of the main differences and easiest ways to tell the difference between the marula and the false marula. Is because of that little stalk of the leaves. Now, I've just seen a beautiful flower that I'd like to show you. Just have a look off this side. Have a look at that. That's the beautiful plumbago. That's what this is. Just going to pick one here quickly. Now, they are very, very sticky. They've got... Oh, we tried this the other day. Hang on, let me try this one. I think Taylor tried it. I don't know if it worked. Did it stay? Did it not? Hey? No, I'm not an earring person, so I probably won't keep this on my ear. But just to show you, I do have a sensitive side. I do like flowers. I don't think I'll wear flowers in my hair. I suppose, if anything, the flowers would get stuck in my curly hair. But a beautiful plumbago in full flower. Oh, we're not far from... We just passed Twin Dams. I had a look to see if there was any activity around there, but I don't see anything. 1 or 2 Egyptian geese, that was it. But we've just passed it, so... We'll see what else we can find. Now, James, also probably not a big earring fan. I actually can't picture James with earrings. Maybe. He's spying something through his binoculars. Let's go see what he's found.
I was indeed trying to spy something through my binoculars. And what I was trying to spy was the European golden oriole that flew over the road and absconded. And I can't remember a time that it's been seen on camera. And so I would like to make that a first. There is a woodland kingfisher. Let's stop and have a look at him. He's doing his little dance. There he is. Oh, that's lovely. Isn't that great? A little pirouette. There were 3 of them up there. Perhaps a male or 2 males and a female fighting over the lady. She's deciding who dances best. I don't know why I find that so funny when they do that. There we go. Pretty. They're right next to each other there. They're still there. Same tree. Right next to each other now. No, they're the birds. There we are. Now this is a kind of courtship dance, and I think they breed quite late. So around about now, when just about all the others have finished doing their breeding in the tree holes, lots of nesting holes for them. And I think that's why they arrive late too. And they leave relatively late. I think I had one in late May last year. Ah, well, that certainly seems to be a fully functional lower intestine. Excellent. I continue with my reputation as the bush laxative. And as Rebecca very kindly said to me, I'm very consistent. I'm consistently good at making animals relieve themselves of the contents of their lower intestines. Wonderful. Righty, let's leave that woodland kingfisher. It's been quite a nice birding day. I shall not soon forget the magnificence of the broad-billed roller. Ah, Adrian, you're in Canada and wondering about the world's largest bird and whether we see them here. You say you've been watching for some time and you have never seen an ostrich. And do we get them here? Ostriches, Adrian, like open areas. They're a little bit like cheetah in that respect. And obviously, if you look around us and if you watch the area where I've been today, where Byron's been today, well, not so much where Tayla's been, ostriches really do not find themselves an ideal habitat here. But off to the east on Cheetah Plains, we have seen a flock of ostriches regularly, and they like the clearings there. They're always out in the open areas if they're there. And then we have seen 1 or 2 around Quarantine now and again. That's where Tayla's been, because it's a bit more open. So basically, it's just because they need an open area to walk around in and run in that they are not here very often. That's the only reason. Oops, lost a gear there. We're okay. Car is still moving. And I have given up on whatever those baboons were alarm calling at. And I'm now just settled on enjoying the morning, which has brought with it a broad-billed roller, and that is quite enough. Maybe it'll bring something else on the way. It nearly brought us a European roller. Not roller, oriole, which would have been very special. Let's just pop down into the drainage line here where it's nice and sheltered, and where on a day like today I imagine there'll be quite a lot of birding activity. The other bird that I haven't seen here, but I know has been seen, is the Corey bustard. And that, of course, is the world's heaviest flying bird. And I think 1 or 2 people have seen them on Safari Live, just not while I've been here. There we go. Can you see the bushel? Difficult to say. There, it's just flown off, obviously. That is deeply irksome. Yeah, no, it's gone now. It's virtually a fossil. Then there are a couple of nice butterflies. If we look at the butterflies here, I would stay wide. I'm not sure any of them are going to settle. But those will be some of the whites, the brown veined whites and various relatives thereof. Very peaceful bucolic scene over here. And in the background, the orange-breasted bush shrike. And if you were very lucky, you would have been on a drive with us 2 nights ago where I found a spectacular spot where there were a whole lot of citrus swallowtail butterflies. And we just timed it right, totally by chance, because the sun had just gone down, so they settled. And we got some astounding close-ups of the citrus swallowtails feeding and then resting on the grass after they'd been mating. Fantastic. Baron apparently has got a woodland kingfisher that seems to be preening itself, I think probably at Chitwa Dam still.
It is indeed preening itself, James. Cleaning itself beautifully. The lovely woodland kingfisher. Look at those blue on the feathers. Turquoise blue. And there were some European bee-eaters around. They've just flown off. I'm going to see if they come back and land around. There's some wonderful birds in this area. Just heard the wonderful call of the chin spot batters. I'll show you a picture of the chin spot batters. Let me just find it. 3 blind mice. Hey, James, the chin spot batters. He's probably rolling his eyes at me now, if you heard that, but that's the little chin spot batters. They do describe the sound as though it is saying 3 blind mice. Let me just see if there's another picture for you. There we go, look at that. Very beautiful little bird, wonderful, wonderful call. It sounds something like this. Sometimes they just do 2 and go. Let me see if I play it on the app. Let's see what they say it sounds like. There we go. Hear that? You can't tell the difference between my call and the bird call. Well, maybe not quite. But lovely little call. And they describe it as it's saying 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. But James does not agree with that, I don't think. I'm just trying to have a look quickly if I can see any of these European bee-eaters around. Not at the moment. It's going to be a hot day today, I think. Very, very warm weather that we're having at the moment, which is great. So nice. I wonder if that cold spell has moved off now for a while. I must be honest though, I really enjoyed that cool weather. It was very nice. And always welcome in summer. Tayla is standing under a tree. Now, is she looking for shade? Has she found something? Let's go find out.
We're standing in the shade of a Combretum imberbe, a beautiful big leadwood, but that's not what we're looking at though. Herbert managed to spot us a beautiful longhorn beetle. And we've been very lucky. We've been seeing so many different types of longhorn beetles. And this specific one, you've actually had a look at under the microscope with James, and unfortunately, as it's in the shade at the moment, it really isn't doing this animal too much justice, because it's got the most amazing and beautiful iridescent sort of green, or metallic greens on it, and they are beautiful ones. My favorite one is the coffee orange longhorn beetle, and I think we've had that. I've managed to catch one for James as well at the tent. But here we are at this beautiful big leadwood. Oh, there's actually a big hole inside this tree. I'm going to try and have a little look in here without getting bitten by anything. Look inside. This would make a perfect spot for bees to make a hive. It is really a very beautiful hole. Snakes would sleep in there, a perfect hideaway from a rock monitor. They would quite happily climb up in a tree and seek some shelter. And then look, it's our friends. It's our friends again, the flies that eat the ants and the termites. Can you see it there, where the grass is? They seem to be following me around. So I'm going to have a look at a couple more species of flies today. I'm going to try and do some more research, but I just haven't been able to find the specific ones that we get here in this area. So I shall keep searching and we'll find it eventually, but they're the most amazing little things, and I can't wait for the day that I find them. And now this one, there's so much going on over here. This tree, this tiny little tree, which is typically how we see them, is a jacket plum. If you have a look at the leaves, you can see how they've got those serrated edges. They must look seriously sharp. It'd actually be nice to take one of these back to the tent and have a look at what this looks like under the microscope. And the thing about a jacket plum leaf is that I'm going to just keep picking a whole lot more. The leaves aren't identical. They sort of all grow a little bit different from one another. The small ones are normally quite long. Here we go, you can see. And they're always different leaves, but very, very typical serrated edge. But unfortunately, this one is still too young to get any fruit. But I must say, I don't know if I really enjoyed the fruit of the jacket plum, which was quite sad because I'd been looking forward to many years the afternoon that we got to, of course, try the jacket plum fruit. But it's time for us, sadly, to say goodbye to all of you. But it's been wonderful. The assassin bugs and the caterpillars were definitely my highlight. And I'm glad that you got to see an elephant with Byron. And, of course, James with that beautiful big baboon. But for myself, Craig and Herbert, we're going to leave you. We're going to see you again this afternoon. I'll be back on a vehicle for the sunset safari. But let's go back across to Byron.
Thank you, Tayla. Hope you enjoyed your walk, and good luck with finding out what flies those are. That's very, very difficult. I wouldn't be able to help you with that, but maybe we can look it up in the book. Now, I found another branch just after I left you. Actually, have a look at this yellow flower just off to the left. Wild hibiscus. It's a wild hibiscus, very beautiful little flower. I love seeing them around. You see them occasionally. It's beautiful. Now, I found a branch from another tree that I'd like to show you, and this is the combretum, one of the combretum trees or bush willow trees. But look at these beautiful seed pods. You see that? So this is the Combretum moreroense, or russet bush willow. That is what this is. I'm sure some of you have seen it before, but they say that you can use the seed pods to make a bit of a bush tea. Now, I have tried this. We've taken a whole bunch of these seeds, we've popped them into boiling water, and we've tried to drink it as a bush tea. It doesn't taste very good. So we're not going to use that. We'll have some Earl Grey perhaps back at camp. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, everyone. From myself and from David on camera, hope you've enjoyed it. Let's head over to James, and I'll see you again this afternoon on our sunset safari. Bye-bye.
Now, these are the Impala that we had around the camp early this morning, and they're in the company of the baboons that were shouting around the camp early this morning as well. They've sort of wandered off towards the drainage system there into the shade where they're looking for fruits, I imagine. And it tells me that whatever it was that made them cross has allowed them to come down, which disappeared, whatever it was. James Bay, you're wondering about the jackals and whether the baboons could have alarmed at them. No, James, those jackals were, or the jackal was a long, long way away, definitely not visible from the camp, and also not a threat to a baboon. A baboon would give a jackal a very nasty time indeed, were it to sort of give chase or try to cause it any harm. A baboon much bigger than a jackal. I mean, I'm quite interested because it looked to me like two young male baboons, those. Maybe it was just the two of them earlier on, as I only saw two baboons earlier on. And young male baboons, or older baboons, all male baboons I meant. In fact, they're just up ahead here. There they are. See them in there. They will catch baby impala, and the impala here are being completely and absolutely tolerant of the two male baboons, which tells me maybe there's the rest of the troop somewhere around here. There's another one just to the right hand side. Let me go forward again. I think you'll get a better picture through here. Oh, there are more of them there to the right and to the left. There, you can see a whole lot of them moving there, so it is the whole troop. Eating little fruits off of the sandpaper raisin. Oh, and there's even a Nyala here. Marvellous. You see the Nyala there, Rian, just to the right? Well done. A whole heap of action going on in the last moments of our drive. Lovely summer scene. There they go. And I'm sure this is the same troop that we've kind of dubbed the Djuma troop that's been knocking about here for the last little while, spending time with the impala. Great privilege having them. Now I must just tell you, before you came back to us here, we did find a woodland kingfisher nest, and the woodland kingfisher put a snake into the nest. Obviously the snake was dead, and it's now currently being consumed by little baby woodland kingfishers. We didn't see the youngsters, so I'm not sure how big they are, but I will take you back to the nest at some stage, and we'll see if we can't find the little woodland kingfishers. That's going to be it from us today. Thank you very much for joining us on our drive. Thank you, Rian, for your efforts. Oh, there we go. A big thank you to Byron and to Tayla, and we will see you this afternoon, of course, at the normal time of 4 o'clock. Until then, I hope that you have a very relaxing evening or day wherever you happen to be in the world. I'm going to go and have some bacon and eggs for breakfast, and then probably a little lie down. Bye-bye.